Good evening. A mother accused of killing her own child is now in custody. Thanks for joining us here at 5. I'm Denise Valdez.
And I'm Brian Loftus. That after a nationwide search issued 24 hours ago as we learned the identity of the child victim. The I-Team's Vanessa Murphy here in studio with more on this story. Vanessa?
Denise and Brian, police say it appears 7-year-old Liam Husted was alive in Las Vegas on May 27th. He was in a hotel here with his mother, but the next day they say they believe she killed him near a trail in Mountain Springs and left his body there. So far, this investigation has taken nearly 2 weeks, and investigators call the mother's arrest some sense of closure. This is the mugshot for 35-year-old Samantha Moreno Rodriguez, taken just this morning after she was taken into custody at a Denver hotel. Her son's body was identified yesterday. That's 7-year-old Liam Husted. Police fast-tracked the identification process after a friend of Moreno Rodriguez saw this sketch released by Metro. I asked Lieutenant Ray Spencer about this process, which he calls time-consuming and complicated.
I'll tell you what I have learned over the last 10 days is how many missing children there are nationally. I was inundated with reports of missing children from all over the United States. And when I said we had hundreds of tips come in, we were going through all of those because there are so many missing children.
Lieutenant Spencer says Liam's father, who lived with the mother and child in San Jose, contacted police there on June 1st with concerns but didn't want to get the mother in trouble. Moreno Rodriguez had left him sort of a Dear John message on May 24th saying she was sorry and she was going to try to get a house to live with Liam, and she had taken their belongings. But again, police connected the dots after the friend reached out on June 4th about the sketch. Police have not released the cause of death for Liam. No word on a motive yet either, but we know detectives are currently interviewing Moreno Rodriguez. Back to you.
Vanessa, thanks for that. So let's remind our viewers of the timeline of events that have happened here in the last 2 weeks. Police say that Liam and his mother left San Jose on the 24th. Then on the 26th, they can be placed in the Laguna Beach area, and then later that same day in Victorville. Police telling us that she stayed in a Las Vegas hotel on the 27th. But then Liam's body was discovered the next day in Mountain Springs. Then on the 29th, Moreno Rodriguez's car was seen traveling on I-70 near Grand Junction. Then fast forward to the 31st, she checked herself into a Denver area hotel. And that's where we find DEBORAH TAKAHARA live tonight with more on the arrest. DEBORAH?
Yeah, we're at the Denver Detention Center where Samantha Moreno Rodriguez will be held until she is taken to Las Vegas to face charges of murder. Investigators were able to take her into custody this morning. Just before 6 o'clock this morning, they say she was taken into custody without incident, and they say they are relieved she was found and taken into custody so quickly after releasing that picture to the media yesterday. Still unclear about how investigators tracked her to that motel, but they say they are here trying to interview her, and they'll get more information in the days and weeks to come. Live in Denver, DEBORAH TAKAHARA, back to you.
DEBORAH, Metro Police just talking about how relieved they are too that she is now in custody. Any idea of how long it might take for her to come back to Las Vegas?
Well, they say if she agrees to waive extradition, she could be back in Vegas by the end of this week. But they say if she decides to fight extradition, it could take up to 30 days.
Now, DEBORAH, there were several days there that we really haven't quite figured out where she was. But today, when she was finally taken into custody, was she alone? Was there anybody with her?
We do understand from investigators, they tell us she was with an unidentified man. They won't tell us much about him, although they do say they do not believe, they are confident he was not involved in Liam's death or any way involved in this case.
DEBORAH TAKAHARA reporting live tonight in Denver. Thanks for that.